There we go. Hello.
So, Madeleine, how are you today?
I am just dandy.
There you go. That's the spirit. That's the spirit. That's the vibe. That's great. Well, welcome to the show again. It is super awesome to have you back. And what better way to have an amazing day than someone as talented and awesome as you?
Thank you.
So before we start, I have to give you an epic welcome. You know the drill. You know what is going to happen.
I do. I'm ready.
There you go. It is super badass. I know. I'm working on it, something more epic eventually for the future. But anyway.
I think it's epic. I think it's still epic.
Amazing. Love it. So, starting with the whole interview now. Tell me, what's new since our last interview?
Honestly, not much. A weekend happened, and that's kind of about it.
How was the weekend?
You know, it was great. I went up to this beautiful lake, and I sat by the lake for a little while and got some nature time. It was lovely.
Amazing. I love that. Love that. So, in our last interview, we talked about your career, which is awesome and badass. We all know that, and those who are tuning in later or watching this later know that for sure. But now, let's talk about the Energy Studio. Tell me where the idea to create that came from.
So, as performers, I don't know if you can hear, that's my cat's food.
That's fine.
So, as performers, we have a lot of in-between time where we find these side jobs to keep ourselves financially stable.
Totally.
And I have done many side jobs, and at some point, probably like 3 or 4 years ago, I started thinking about offering energy healing as my side job and creating something out of that. But at the time, I was so busy that starting a business was just like, nope, that's not an option. It's too much.
Yeah, of course.
And so I was just kind of putting it off and waiting until the right time. And then the pandemic happened, and all of a sudden I had all of the time, and it was like, okay, now is when I create this thing. And so we did, and here we are.
There you go. And what would you say is one of the reasons that professional performers might feel burnout?
So, I mean, one, what we do is incredibly demanding, both physically and energetically and emotionally. And I mean, there are a lot of things that go into it. I think something that's very common that I see is people outsourcing their self-trust and starting to do whatever they think will get the response that they feel they need. So like, you know, maybe I'm not perfectly right or maybe I don't really want to do this show, but something is better than nothing. And so I'm going to do all these things that I don't actually necessarily want to be doing, but I think that they are what I should be doing. And so that's one facet of it, but I think there are so many things. I think it can be that you are misaligned with what you are really wanting to do in the world because you've been stuck in survival mode. I think it can be, you know, just taking on more than you are actually capable of doing and having really high expectations of yourself. I mean, performers in general, we have high expectations of ourselves. And then also I think being very empathic is something that when you don't know how to work with your own energy and create those boundaries, you can end up taking on a lot of people's feelings and carrying those with you. And that's draining because then you're not only navigating your own feelings, but also navigating other people's feelings and energies and trying to figure out, well, why am I feeling this? And the answer is that you don't have to actually figure out what's going on. It's that it doesn't actually belong to you. And so when we don't have those boundaries, it can be incredibly draining. And, you know, it's really hard to do your job when you're burnt out. So. Yeah,
totally. Yeah. I can understand that. And what do you think, what are some of the consequences that someone might have in their personal and professional life if they don't pay attention in this feeling burnout?
Yeah. I mean, I think that depression and anxiety have a lot to do with burnout. One of my favorite things that I've ever seen says depression can also be broken down to deep rest, that it's your body calling you to take a period of rest and of realignment. And I think anxiety is the other end of that pendulum of feeling like, Nadia is saying definitely illness. Yes. It's the other end of that pendulum of feeling like I have to do everything or I won't be safe. And, and I mean, I think a lot of people in our country in general right now are dealing with a lot of anxiety and depression, and just in the world in general. And so I think that's definitely one symptom. Also, like it was commented, physical illness is definitely, I mean, the way that I found energy healing is that I got a cold and it wouldn't go away. I got to like 5 different doctors and it just was not shifting. And it got to the point where I was developing asthma. And I remember thinking, maybe there's something off in my energetic system and not really knowing what that meant. And then I did an energy healing and it was like, boom, everything's better. And that was the thing. I was just in such a desperate place at that point because I was so burnt out that my immune system couldn't keep up even. So, I mean, I think that's a big part of burnout and a big side effect of it is illness and of all spectrums, mental and physical. And also just not feeling excited about things that used to excite you or that feel like they should excite you because you just don't have the energy to be excited. And that's okay. I mean, as long as you're choosing to do something about that, you're choosing to create that shift, it's okay to experience that. There's nothing wrong with you for that.
Totally. Yeah, I can understand it, and I can relate to that too. Yeah, it gets you to a point in which, as you just said, things that you used to like, you just don't care anymore, you know, that it doesn't matter anymore, and you just want to kind of you kind of want to get a rest, but at the same time you don't want to get a rest, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think something else too is that our culture typically promotes seeking outside help for things like that. Not in the terms of like, don't go to therapy. I'm a huge supporter of therapy, but like, in general, because of the way the marketing works, we're taught like, oh, you have dry skin, here's the solution. Oh, this thing is wrong in your life, here's the solution. But when it comes to your own mental and energetic wellness, a lot of the time what I find is that people try to go out and find the solutions externally of, oh, well, I just have to get a new job, or when this happens, then these feelings will go away. Totally. But they don't. And because it's an inside job, it's something where you have to turn inward and see what's happening on the inside that's supporting me feeling burnt out, that is supporting me feeling depressed or anxious. And so that's part of what I love about energy healing, is that it doesn't say like, take X, Y, and Z and you'll be better. It's like, no, we're going to actually deal with what's going on so that it's not just a lifetime of chasing or of suppressing symptoms, and instead healing what's actually happening and what's causing the symptoms. Yeah,
totally. And also it's a process, right? I mean, I do think that all of the, whenever you are treating yourself from the inside, like emotionally or mentally, it's gonna take a while. I mean, it's not like as I don't know, as another, let's say as the flu, for example, that you just rest in a couple of days, boom, you're good to go. No, normally for that it will take sometimes months and even years, because there's a lot of things that you need to kind of dissect little by little, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I always say it's kind of like energy healing works kind of like large surgeries where there are multiple, they have to do multiple things, because our energetic system, just like our physical body, can only withstand so much at any given time. We are only ready, what comes up for healing is what we are ready for at that time. And as we continue to heal, different layers will bring themselves forward. And this is where the term that healing is not linear comes from, because like even this past week I've been going through, sorry, there's a car going by and it's very loud. Even this past week I hit a cycle back of, oh, this is something I haven't thought about or thought I needed to deal with for a while. Sorry, this is being very loud outside.
It's okay, don't worry, it's fine.
Okay. That something came back around and it's like, oh, here's another level of healing that's ready to happen that I wasn't ready to do maybe a year ago, but now I am, and so it's going to come up for healing. So it is a process, but it's also incredibly rewarding. And for me, at least, I've never found another form of healing that is so efficient. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that.
That's good. Yeah. Now, talking more about the energy studio, tell me how the process works. I mean, when and how can I schedule a meeting?
So there are a few different options. I offer a free consultation, so I will meet with people for 20 minutes. We'll talk about their lives, what's going on, and we can, from there, I can recommend what next steps might be useful for you, because everyone's journey is going to be a little different. I also have some people who are like, nope, I know I need an energy healing and you're the person I want to do it with, and you can do that through my website, which is just the-energy-studio.com. And I'm not going to talk you through how to do it because I'm actually updating the website this weekend. But you'll find a place that says work with me. You can schedule an energy healing there. In the intake form, I ask a few questions that just help me get an understanding of what's happening in your life. Sorry, my cat has come to say hi. There he goes. And so that we can make the most of our time working together. And then I also have a few other offerings as well. But if you are, I would say the best bet would be to set up a free consultation so that we can talk about what those offerings are. And are you in a place where energy healing would really be of service? And like most of the time, energy healings are great for people. But sometimes there are also other resources that I can recommend, which I like doing.
Okay. I'm going to leave all the website and everything on the link on the description. You can check that. That's really cool. Now tell me more about the shamanic energy healing.
Yeah, I mean, so shamanic energy healing is a very broad term. Within that, there are many, many, many things that we do. And sometimes you'll find people who are like, I specifically do past life work, or I specifically do like ancestral healing. I'm not one of those people that's like, I only do these things. I kind of have a broader range of things that I work with. And this is why each healing is different, because there's no set formula. There's no like, this is how we heal everybody. Like, it's not cookie cutter. It's very much like, I'll just walk you through what an energy healing would be like typically, like the average structure. So we would meet. I do all of mine remotely, so over Zoom, and we would talk about what's going on in your life, what you are wanting to focus on in that day, and then I would open up what I call a healing field, ask for guidance, ask for assistance, and ask that we are in an energetically safe space, and then tuning into what's happening in your energetic system based on what you have shared with me. So like, I'm not gonna, do things that you have not given me permission to do by any means. But seeing, okay, is there an energetic block here? Is there a part of you that is with somebody else, and so you're not fully with yourself? Is there an ancestral wound? Is there a past life that's affecting you? And then whatever comes up, just going down that path and seeing where it leads. And I always tell people that sometimes emotions cycle through, sometimes they have like physical twitches or things release in their body. I mean, I've had energy healings where I come with like a big pain in my shoulder and I can literally feel it dissipate throughout the healing. It's really remarkable. So every healing is a little bit different. And then 9 times out of 10, there are aftercare things of like, take an Epsom salt bath or do these things to support the healing that we just did, to make sure that what we did is really as impactful as it can be.
Wow. That's so amazing. Interesting. Yeah, it is so interesting, right? That how energy goes through the body, and if you don't pay close attention to it, it might get misguided into a place in which you just feel something's off. You know what I mean? That even though that you don't have that you're not ill, that you don't have nothing wrong, that you will feel that there's something wrong in your body, but you just can't tell what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it instantly affects in everything that you do.
And that's always so because I've been doing this for a while now, I have my own tells of when I need to go for an energy healing and when I need to seek help from somebody else.
Totally.
And there's always a point where it's like something's off and I don't know what it is, or like I can't see it myself. And that's when I know it's time to call my healer and be like, hey, it's time. For whatever reason, I can't heal this for myself. And also, we're not supposed to heal everything for ourselves. Like, we are, as humans, we are not meant to be isolated. That's not how we thrive. And so I'm a huge fan of asking for help. I'm not always good at it, but I think it's really important. And when you get that feeling of something is off and I don't know what to do, that's when I think it's time to go to a healer.
There you go. Perfect. I love it. Now, you also have a podcast channel. So tell me more about it and what can we expect to hear on each episode?
So the podcast is a hybrid of a few things. So there are a few episodes that specifically talk about shamanic world things. I have one episode that's very popular where we talk about past life stories. It's me and another friend of mine, Yada, who's also a healer. And so sometimes it's things like that. I have one that talks about like what is shamanic energy healing. So there's some in there that are more about that. And then I also have guests come on the show. And these guests span a wide range of what they do in the world. I have a friend who was on there who is a Reiki healer, and she explains Reiki healing. And then I also have Broadway performers and choreographers come on and talk about their own experience with mental and energetic wellness as a performer. And then also one of my favorite episodes was with a dancer named Billy Griffin, and he's also a teacher in New York. And we talk about how you can tell when somebody walks into a room and their energy is in alignment and they've been doing the personal work, and you can tell when they have not been. And so those are always fun interviews to just hear the perspective of the people on the other side of the table and be like, oh, okay, that meditation that I did before I went into the audition, that actually had an effect on what I brought into the room. So it's mostly those three things. It's talking about shamanic practices, and then conversations with people either about shamanic practices or healing practices, and talking to industry professionals about what their own personal journeys are with this stuff.
Wow. And where can we find the podcast?
The podcast is anywhere that you listen to your podcast. So it's on Spotify, it's on Apple Music, it's on I don't even know half the names of them. And if you don't have either of those, you can also listen to it on our website. There's a tab that says resources and then podcast and downloads.
Link in the description below.
Yeah.
Now, wow. Now tell me, what are some of the benefits that you started to realize when you started this process of healing from burning out?
Oh, so many. The first thing that happened for me, one was that my own immune system was able to catch up with me. Because my energy wasn't being drained anymore in all these places. It could actually work in my favor. I also... So I'm somebody who for a long time, or for a big portion of my life, felt very lonely. And when I started working in this way, there was this overwhelming sense of I am not alone. The universe is providing for me. The universe is protecting me. I have guides. I have allies who are always working on my behalf. And that was really a huge relief for me. And there are just so many wonderful things that have come from this for me. And also I see it directly in my clients of, healing financial wounds. And I think a lot of people have wounds regarding money, and regarding receiving money, and it can be ancestral. It can come from your own belief systems, but seeing myself included, but clients suddenly receiving money and like through things that they love doing, people being able to show up differently in their relationships and have words for what's happening instead of just feeling out of control. Being able to say, hey, I identified this wound that I have, I'm working on this. And something else that I talk a lot about is that mental work is very it's trending right now, if you will. Like we love Brené Brown, we love Gabby Bernstein, we love all those things. Gabby ventures into spiritual more, but we love all these books that are self-help, and they work on the mental level. And I always say that you can do all this mental work, but if you have something stuck in your energetic system, you're going to be going along like, yeah, life is changing, and then you're going to hit a block. And you're going to hit a point where it's like, why isn't this working anymore? Why am I going back into old behaviors? And that's because there's still something stuck in your energetic system. There's still something telling your entire system that it is not safe for me to live in that way, even if mentally you want to. So I have found that when you pair the mental work with the energetic work, the shifts that happen so much faster and more efficiently because you're not fighting yourself anymore. Everything is working together instead of you trying to fight past this thing that your body is like, no, this kept me safe for years. Of course I'm not going to let it go. So I would say that's the biggest thing. It took me a little while to get here, but that's the biggest thing is when we work on just the mental level, we're really missing an opportunity to make it easier for ourselves. We don't have to struggle to change.
Wow. Preach on that. And now, like, I wonder, like, tell me, what's the main goal that you try to achieve with the Energy Studio?
So it's funny you mentioned that because it's kind of shifted a little bit this week. So for most of the pandemic, I've been really focused on working with creatives because one, I get it. I understand the unique circumstances of being a performer or a creator. And I really think the entertainment industry is going through an evolution right now, where people are standing up for themselves, which is great. It should totally happen. I am a huge supporter of it. And I think I have this dream that the entertainment industry becomes healthier. We find ways to become healthier. But the only way that can happen is if we are healthier, if we can show up in a healthy way to our work, to our jobs, if we can, when we are speaking with our agents or managers or producers or directors, if we can show up in a healthy way, because it has a butterfly effect. I cannot tell you how many clients I have who their spouses within like 2 or 3 months are like, well, maybe I should do an energy healing, or like, maybe I should start trying to do these things too. Because as humans, we want to be in alignment. That is our goal. We get misguided because we think that something will help us and then it doesn't, but it feels safer than where we were before. So we stick to that thing that's not working. But when we see somebody else experiencing something and when they are in alignment, it creates a roadmap for us to know how to do that too. So I really think that the way that we create a healthier industry is by healing ourselves and then setting the example for those who are coming after us or those who are around us. And this week, actually, I've been thinking a lot about kind of broadening that spectrum of, as we are going back into working environments, a lot of people are really reassessing how they are living their lives. And so like I literally just dropped off little postcards at a workspace that my friend works at, because she was like, the people in my office need this. So my focus for the last year has been very much on helping performers, and I still am so passionate about doing that. I want to do that, but we're starting to broaden out a little bit more. We've never been exclusively for performers, but starting to honor and recognize that like people who sit in an office all day are also experiencing these things.
Yeah.
So so that mission has broadened a little bit in the last week. If you ask me in another week, I might be like, we're only focusing on performers right now. That's been the constant. But where we are today, we're also honoring and recognizing that there are other people in our communities that need this type of work.
Yeah, totally. I do. Feeling burnout in office, I've been there, and it is awful because your performance starts to decrease. You just feel tired all the time. That no matter what your supervisor or team leader or whatever will tell you, you instantly get into this. I'm not gonna say aggressive, but you just close yourself in your own bubble and be like, I don't want to be bothered anymore. You know, you just want to get the job done, go home, get paid, and that's it. But yeah, I mean, for not paying attention to that, it consumes you. It does consume you, and it just makes you feel even more tired into a point that you don't want to, as we said before, that you don't want to even do the things that you enjoy the most, because you are just too tired. And the fact that you're working on that is really cool, and you are actually focused on that, because I do think that there is a space, that there is a need on that, that there is a space now that we have the energy studio, it is cool that you guys take care of that, because the consequences for not taking care of that, it can get into even into a more dark and deeper place.
Yeah, well, and something you said reminded me that like everybody reacts differently. We all have different coping mechanisms, and just like we go to the doctor for a physical every year, I think it's similar with energy work. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't find energy work until they're in a point where they really need it, because it's not as mainstream. It is becoming more mainstream. I cannot tell you how much more is out there right now than even just like 3 or 4 years ago. But like, how wonderful would it be if we were raised in a way that told us and taught us to check in with our own energy and say like, hey, how am I feeling today? Am I depleted? How can I honor what's actually happening in myself, instead of, again, focusing only on the external of I have to get these things done, these things will lead to this, this, and this, and this, this, and this, and that's what I need in my life, when really what you need is to show up for yourself, because you can't do any of those things if you aren't showing up for yourself. And this is also why I think this is so important for performers, because in so many ways we are entrepreneurs. We have to show up for the auditions. We have to be self-motivated. It's very rare that you meet an artist and somebody else is pulling the cart for them. So
absolutely.
For us to be able to show up, I believe we also have to be able to turn in and recognize and honor what's happening for ourselves, and then have the tools and the resources to get the help that we need when we need it.
Totally. Now, if you could describe the energy studio with 3 words, which ones you will use?
I was thinking about this earlier. I think my 3 words would be mental, energetic, wellness.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go.
MEW, right?
Yeah. Moo.
Moo.
But not a cow.
be like mew.
Yeah, kind of like a cat.
Like a cat.
Right? Mew.
Mew. There you go. There you go. You know, you should make at some point if you're gonna release merch, you should make some saying mew.
Yeah, everyone will know what it means.
Yeah, totally. Please do. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Now the reviews are amazing. I mean, while I was checking the whole Energy Studio website, their reviews are amazing. People do love it. But tell me, where do I sign up? Like, for those who want to sign up right now, where can they sign up?
So there is a link in my Instagram bio that has a bunch of different things. It has a link to my course, which is a 9-week course called Unblock Your Creative Career. It has a link to our website. It has a link to schedule an energy healing. At the very bottom, there is a link to schedule a free consultation. On our website, you can also join our mailing list, so you'll get updates if we ever do like a sale or a promotion, or you'll hear about upcoming things that are happening. So those are a few ways. I would say if you're feeling like, oh my God, something's off in my life and I think I totally need an energy healing, probably the Instagram link is going to be your fastest, easiest way to just do some clicking and set up a time.
There you go. And now you also have a course for creating starting on Thursday. So tell me more about it. Like, what is it going to be, and what can we expect, and where can people sign in?
Yeah, so this course is called Unblock Your Creative Career. It's a 9-week course. It is the most in-depth thing that we offer by far. So it's 9 weeks, and it's really designed for people who are at the point in their career where they're like, something has to give. Like, I have been giving to my career and it's not giving me back what I want it to, or feeling like I know I am capable of so much more than I am doing right now, and I just don't know how to get to that next level. And there are so many business courses and coaches out there, and I think they're fabulous and wonderful. But you can do branding and marketing work for days. You can take technique classes for days. If you are not internally ready for that level of success, if you have a block towards something that success would bring you, you're not going to get there. And the course actually came out of a friend of mine who's also a healer and I having a conversation about how we went through this period of deep healing, and we let ourselves have that period of time, and then things in our careers just started taking off because we'd done that healing work, because we felt safe to receive it. So this course is based off of the work that I did for myself in that period of time. And so we spend the first 3 weeks doing some self-exploration work and really digging into what are your own personal stories that you carry with you? What are the stories that have been holding you back, and how do we move beyond those? Thinking about what are the stories that I hear from that I still hear from my family and from my community, even as far back as when I was a kid. And looking at all of those things that really shape us, and they have a huge impact on what we hear in our head, the guiding voices, if you will, of our own mind. I actually heard that some people don't have those voices, and I'm like, oh my God, am I insane? I don't think I am. Most people I know are like, oh no, yes, I hear, know, there's an ongoing dialogue. So we spend 3 weeks really focused on that, and then built in, we do a one-on-one energy healing. So anything that comes up in those 3 weeks of exploration, we heal right away so that we can continue moving forward. Okay. And then in the middle 3 weeks, we talk about common patterns in our industry. We talk about adrenaline dominance. We talk about codependency with our creativity. And then in the last 3 weeks, we do a one-on-one coaching so we can start to game plan for your future. And like, this is, with all these things that I've discovered about myself and that I've healed, this is actually what I really want to be doing. And this is how I can show up in my life and how I can show up in the world authentically as me and confidently, instead of, trying to be someone else that someone made us think would be successful. But really, you're going can be the most successful when you can show up as yourself. And then game planning for the next steps of how you're going to use what you've learned and implement it into your career. So that's the basic structure. With that, there's also workbooks and a private online community to help you integrate it into your life. So it's not just, here's a bunch of information, because information is great, but it doesn't really serve you unless you are implementing it into your life. So it is a full package deal for 9 weeks. The way to register for that, so I meet with everybody who registers for the course. I think it's important to do a check-in, one, to see if we work well together, because we're gonna be hanging out for 9 weeks, and also to make sure that the course is actually going to support you where you are. I would never want somebody to sign up for something when it's not what they actually are looking for. Like if they're anticipating that this is a business-centered course, then I'm going to be like, you know what? It's actually not. Are you wanting to focus to do a course that's focused on working with your own internal self? And if they are, then great. And if not, then great. That's not what they were looking for. So the next step would be to send me a message on Instagram preferably, or you can send me an email if you have my email. And or schedule an interest meeting. So on the page of our website that has all the information about this course, Unblock Your Creative Career, in bright pink, there are buttons that say schedule an interest meeting, and you can do that, and we can sit and talk. We'll talk about your life, what's going on, and then if you feel like the course would be a good fit for you, I will send you a link to register. And then we start on Thursday. So it's a fast turnaround. And I actually am going to say, because I decided this today. So originally we were going to do this on Monday, but then the internet decided that we all needed the social media detox, which I'm sort of. So I am opening up the option, if somebody is watching this and Thursday has passed, still send me a message, because everything is recorded. So if you're really interested in doing this course and you're like, you know what, this would really change my life right now, I can let you in a week late and you can just watch the replay of the recording. So if you're somebody listening to this or seeing this after Thursday, October 7th, that's an option for you. You can reach out to me and we can find a way to make something work.
There you go. Totally. And also, if you can send me a message to me, and I will direct to you. And I will direct immediately to Madeleine here, so she can take care of it.
Thank you for that.
And you already know what you are. You're a badass here, and that's amazing what you're doing. The Energy Studio rocks. The reviews are killing it. It's amazing. I really want this to keep growing, because the fact that you're taking care of that and you raised a hand to those who wants to get help, that is super awesome. I'm gonna leave all the possible links in the description, so those who are watching this or listening to this or listen this later on the podcast, you can totally go there and check it out. Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Now, before I send you off, I didn't send you off in an epic. I can't help it. So here we go. Keep having an amazing rest of the day, and also thank you so much for those who tune in. As I said before, if you're watching this later on the YouTube or listening to this later on the podcast, make sure that you're following Madeleine and the Energy Studio like ASAP. If you're watching this on YouTube, you just check all the links in the description, but first leave a like and subscribe. Come on. And again, Madeleine, thank you so much. I can't wait to see more of the Energy Studio. I really want this to grow and keep rocking, because we need more rocking people as you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me again. Have a good one. Bye. You too. Bye.